All right, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. It's your boy, and with the anniversary coming up in the next couple weeks, we're gonna be seeing a discount on a lot of the stuff currently in the game, some that we've seen over previous years and others that we've never seen. So what I wanted to do today is actually give you guys a list of about 20 characters that you should consider building if you're a new or intermediate player in Marvel Future Fight. If you stop playing for a bit and you're coming back, trying to get back into the swing of things, you want to keep up in World Boss Legend, whether it's against Mephisto, Null, or Infinity Ultron, whether you are struggling in Vibranium League, ABX, Squad Battle, you name it. I want to give you guys a list of about 20 characters that is going to drastically improve your Marvel Future Fight experience. And the reason why I want to do this is because of the fact that since the anniversary is coming up, I'm constantly getting messages from a lot of people on Discord, on Twitter, or on the live streams asking about uniforms and characters that people should build. So what I want to do today is give you just that. Now, Marvel Future Fight is in a state better than it's ever been, where currently there's over, I would say, 100, maybe 120 characters that are considered, in my opinion, to be good. They can be used in PvE content at a decent level, and about, I would say, 40 or 50 of them can actually win in PvP regardless of the league you're in, if your cards and your builds are good enough. So first and foremost, if you're just coming to the game, to be honest, you can pick up a couple characters that you really like from the comics or that you see in the game that looks cool to you, but I would say primarily stick to some of the characters that I'm going to give you today. You don't have to go for all of them, right? But I would say aim for about 10 of them and your experience in the game will be very, very good. The first character, this list is not in any particular order, but the first character I want to recommend that most people pick up is Dr. Doom. Pick him up at some point because, in my opinion, he's the best character in the game overall right now. I know a lot of people are going to complain in the comment section saying, yo, Dr. Doom can be easily countered in PvP by a lot of different characters, and that's true. Every character in the game can be countered right now. Spider-Man can beat Doom, Gilgamesh can beat Spider-Man, Sentry can beat Spider-Man. Like, there's so many characters that can counter people, right? So that's not a real reason to dismiss Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom can cover a lot of different game modes. He's top tier for Timeline, top tier for Squad Battle, and top tier for World Boss Legend. He's one of the very few characters that, in my opinion, can cover 3 different pieces of content and do it at a very, very high level. So I absolutely have to put him on this list. Another character that I really want to recommend to you guys is Makari. Now, I know these 2 characters, Doom and Makari, they're very, very expensive. They're a lot behind spending a lot of crystals. So do keep that in mind, but they are well worth it. Makari, just like Doom, she's actually very viable as well. She can do ABX, Squad Battle, and she's a killer in World Boss Legend. Not as much PvP potential from her, but she can still cover 3 pieces of content. Next character that I really am loving right now that's amazing is Emma Frost. You can tell by the fact that I have her at rank 85. Absolutely love her for PvE, World Boss Legend specifically. She's amazing, and then she also is very, very, very powerful for PvP. She's a part of my PvP team this week, and I am currently undefeated, especially if you pick up this artifact for her. Oh my gosh, she's toxic. Okay, next character I have to absolutely recommend is Thanos. Okay, I know these characters, they're very expensive. Yo, why are you making a list of all these expensive characters? You're gonna have to make tough choices, okay? These characters are well worth the investment. You might not be able to get them right away, but if you're able to get them within a couple months of me making this video, you'll be in a good spot because they are very, very powerful, okay? Thanos, right now, this is the best he's ever been. So if you're a Thanos fan and you're coming to the game or you're coming back to the game, trust me, it's a good time to pick up this guy's uniform. Top tier for PvE, in my opinion, World Boss Legend to be specific, and then he's also top tier for PvP. Timeline Battle, Alliance Conquest, you name it. Obviously, we couldn't recommend you guys pick up top 20 characters and not put Spider-Man in here. This is the best Spider-Man's ever been. Timeline Battle and World Boss Legend, you name it. This guy is absolutely amazing. Sharon Rodgers, I have to put her on here. She's like the first character that everybody should build, but even now, after all this time, she's still a top tier character. She's meta for squad battle, and she's amazing for World Boss Legend. I have to put her counterpart in here, her villain counterpart. Again, another expensive character, but Moonstone is very, very viable for ABX and for squad battle and World Boss Legend. So gotta put her on here as well. Another character that I really love. Again, I know some of these characters are very expensive to get access to, but Cersei with her artifact, oh man, she pops off in PvP, and then for PvE, she's a really good support and a DPS, so gotta put her on here. In my opinion, she is one of the best characters in the game. We can't have a best character in the game conversation, right? My words there. Anyways, and now put Loki in there. Dispatch God, ABX God, World Boss Legend is alright too, okay? So I love Loki and this TVA uniform, or if you wanna rock with the the President Loki can go that too, and he'll be perfectly fine. The next character I gotta recommend here, another cheap one, you don't have to spend that much crystal, Shang-Chi. He's really good. He's one of those characters that can do PvP and PvE, so if you're looking for a little bit of balance, he's amazing. Now, I tried to set this list up in a way where it wasn't heavily in favor of like PvE characters only or PvP characters only, and it wasn't really dominated by one specific category like all blast, all combat, all universal. I wanted to give you guys a nice balance, right, of different characters from different categories, male, females, aliens, humans, you name it, right, so that if you pick up a couple off this list, you'll be well situated to take care of the majority of the content in the game. Another character that I absolutely have to recommend is Supergiant, ABX meta. She's amazing for World Boss Legend as well. She has a PvP leadership, and to be honest, if you build her for PvP, she can be a PvP character because she turns invisible and she has iframe ignore. So she's very, very viable, but not too many people build her for PvP because her PvE potential just supersedes that. Okay, next character we gotta recommend is obviously Hakai. Is a super cheap, sorry, right beside Shang-Chi there, super cheap DPS, very, very powerful. So if you're looking for a solid speed character that's not Spider-Man, and you're looking for a male, go with Hakai. You're looking for a female, go with Kate Bishop, okay? A little bit weaker than Hakai, but still amazing. If you're not trying to pick up Makari because she's too much crystals, pick up Kate Bishop. She'll get you, I would say, 90% of the results that you're gonna get with Makari. Now, this one right here is interchangeable. I would say if you get one, you don't really need the other. So I'm gonna say Sentry and Adam Warlock. Pick up whichever one you want. They're both expensive in their own way. Obviously, one is universal and one is blast, but I think they are very, very similar in regards to the fact that they're both primarily PvP characters. Yes, Adam Warlock has a little bit better PvE potential, but because of the fact that he's a creature and he doesn't have very many tags, he's not really viable for a lot of high stages in World Boss Legend. So for the most part, the majority of the player base uses Adam Warlock for PvP, the same thing you use Sentry for currently. So I put both of them on here, but I'm gonna say if you have one, you don't really need the other. That's just my 2 cents. Mephisto, ABX, pretty much that's where his entire value is right now, but he's pretty decent for World Boss Legend as well. Definitely better than his other native tier 3 counterpart in Null, which is a character I'm not gonna put on this list, okay? Wave and White Fox, I had to put them on here because they're god tier supports for stuff like World Boss Legend and ABX. While we're speaking about supports, we got to talk about Hela. Again, one of the best supporting characters in the game based off of her uniform bonus. She is amazing for PvP, and then she also has a really good leadership, and overall she has very, very good DPS on her tier 3 skill if you line it up properly with her 4th skill to give her some extra skill damage and bonus damage. Amazing character all around, especially if you're able to get her artifact. I have it at 6 stars. Speaking of supports, I had to put Colossus on here. I know some of you guys who are free to play or on a budget, you might not see a lot of value in this guy, but trust me when I say he is an amazing PvP support, and I don't see him going anywhere anytime soon, especially since a lot of people still refuse to build Molecule Man, because Molecule Man as a character is really not that powerful, but he has an amazing leadership that shuts off all of the support passives that gives you extra damage to villains or heroes, or making so that you take less damage from heroes or villains. But a lot of people don't see too much value in him, so they're not building him, and because of that, people like Colossus, they're gonna hold value for a little bit longer until Molecule Man gets a uniform that actually makes it more than just the leadership. Moving on, speaking of leadership, I had to put Ebony Ma in here because Ebony Ma is one of the only supports that is actually safe from Molecule Man's ability to shut off your extra damage to heroes, villains, etc. because his buff basically only applies to universal characters. It's not like a super villain slash superhero buff, so it's actually able to bypass Molecule Man's leadership. Now, one of the last characters I want to include in this video is Proxima Midnight, because overall I think she is one of the best supporting characters in the game. Top tier DPS, super easy to use, very good leadership for stuff like dispatch missions, because once you get to 9-1 and beyond, the enemies have a lot of dodge because they're like level 76, 78, 80, whatever, right? And then on top of that, if you're using Loki for dispatch missions, then she's going to give Loki extra damage to heroes and villains, and herself is no slouch. Very good DPS on her. Now, I don't want to make this video super long, but I could include people like Wolverine as a good pickup because his uniform makes him ABX meta, and if you get his artifact, then obviously he's going to be viable for PvP with the undead passive, just like Hela. Obviously, people like Cyclops in his uniform, he's pretty good as well. I know Captain America is really good. I use him regularly every time Mephisto is my boss of the day. Additionally, people like Falcon are really good. People like War Machine or Iron Man. But I wanted to make this list as short and condensed as possible, giving you characters that cover a large variety of different game modes, and they are considered to be the top metas, right? I know some of you guys are going to be salty as hell. You're going to be like, yo, why is Human Torch not considered to be a staple? Anything that Human Torch can do for you now, there are other characters that can do it just as well, if not better, and then those characters are also meta for specific pieces of content, whether it's ABX, squad battle, PvP, etc. versus, yeah, he can do World Boss Legend, but then what else, right? The same thing goes for one of my favorite characters in the game, and honestly one of the most fun characters to use, Gambit. Once upon a time, I would have been telling you, yo, go for Gambit. And here's the thing, if you have a premium hero selector and he's in there, pick him up. He's very good, especially if you pick up this uniform. But there are stronger characters in the game than Gambit now. That's just where we're at. So anyways, stronger and more useful. Like, I would easily tell you pick up Loki over Gambit any day of the week, because Loki's going to cover multiple pieces of content versus Gambit, he's only going to be used for ABX. So that's why a lot of these characters are getting excluded from my top picks, even though they are very good. But remember what I said at the beginning of the video. The game is in a very good state right now. There's 249 characters in the game, and over 120 of them can actually be played in content. So you don't have to take my list as the gospel and only build from this list. I'm just saying this list is going to give you a foothold and make it so that you can do pretty much everything in the game at the highest level. So if you want to take my advice and build some of these units, go ahead. But if you just want to build units to have fun, do that as well. I know some of y'all gonna be salty that I didn't put Silver Surfer in here. Listen, man, Silver Surfer, my boy. But realistically, in PvP, if I had the option of running Emma Frost, Adam Warlock, Sentry, Doctor Doom, Thanos, you really think I'm gonna come back and use Silver Surfer? You might, but I definitely won't. And that's not for lack of a good build on my Silver Surfer, okay? My build is good. I like Surfer, but I know where the meta is at right now. I'll catch you guys. Peace.